It's your boy Iggy, live again. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. Iggy's on my podcast. I am your host, Iggy, and I have a special guest here. Um, and I'll let her introduce herself. I am excited to have you on, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll get started.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. I was like, oh, yeah, I got the invitation.
Yeah. I'm glad you feel that way.
Hello, everyone out there in Iggy's world. My name's Napierra. A lot of people know me as Napierra Nicole. Napierra The Nubian Goddess. I'm on Power 94 on the Quiet Storm. I also, work in the city as a public relations coordinator. I own my own business as a loctician, doing sister locks and micro locks. I do a few things in the city, some volunteering, some, community outreach, some stuff like that. Young professionals. I do a lot. I do too
That's a
much.
lot.
I do a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot to have on your plate.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
enjoy it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
What uh what what motivates you to do all those things? What's the core of that?
I think one, I'm a Virgo, so we like to be, we like
That's
perfection. We
all she
like
had to
to,
say.
right? I mean, we gotta make sure our hand is in everything.
Yeah,
No, I'm just a person that I've always loved to be in my community. I love to be out there, socialize, to know what's going on. Be a
yeah,
part of the movement in some type of way.
yeah,
So yeah, I love the culture and I always want to be a part of it.
yeah,
So I always try to make sure I'm doing something, out there, keep me
yeah,
alive, keep the spirit
yeah,
alive.
yeah, yeah. I feel that. I like to have my hands in things too.
Yeah.
I'm an Aries. We are not as organized as Virgos when it comes to that, but we are as
Yes.
motivated. We like to have do a lot of things, and so I definitely feel that. I feel like part of my thing with that is like knowing when and how to balance it.
hmm
You know what I mean? And I'm kind of getting better at that.
Yeah.
What are the ways that you kind of like?
Oh, that's actually the same for me. I'm still learning how to balance a lot of things. When it comes to being at work
Yeah,
and then going from work to after work doing hair.
yeah,
And then maybe after that, I have to go to the radio station.
yeah,
I work out too, so I have to fit that in my regimen.
yeah,
And it's just some weeks I get to be like, all right, Napier, you're doing too much.
yeah,
Sit
yeah,
down.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Sit
I
down.
feel you. I feel
But
it.
yeah, it's just one of those things where I always have to kind of just watch, what's going on in my
Mhm.
life and kind of sit back and be like, all right, let's just try to grasp this again so you
Mhm.
won't, you can still have your social life, you still have your professional life, but
Yeah,
you just make sure it's about balance. I always
yeah,
tell myself, balance, baby,
yeah,
get that
yeah.
balance.
Balance, baby. I like that. When you do like a job socially, like I can identify with this too, because with the podcast, there's a lot of like networking you got to do, and so it's work, but it's also socializing at the
Right.
same time.
Right.
How do you draw like those lines? You know what I mean? Like, because for me, I try to part of the I talked about this before on the podcast. It's like part of the ways I draw those lines is like making sure I am letting people know I am Iggy. This is who I am when I'm out, right?
Right.
Because like there's like a boundary within that. Like you know me, so you still know me. Like Iggy's still me, but it's
Right.
not all the way me. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
like, how do you do that?
Oh man, it's challenging because, like I said, I do work for the city. So
Hmm.
let me put that disclaimer out
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah. Before we get started, we got a
Everything I
disclaimer.
say is my opinion, okay, guys. I work for a lot of organizations in the city, so I just want to say whatever I say on here is
We
coming
will.
from me, Napira.
Yeah, it's
Just
gonna
put
be
that out
in the
there.
bottom too. By the way, it
Just put that out
works.
there. But for the most part, I always see myself as a business,
Yeah.
and Dolph, who's one of my favorite rappers out there,
Ooh,
Big
ooh.
Flipper. he said, I'm a businessman,
Yeah,
and I take that really seriously because I have a brand out here, not just about, my professional tying in public relations, tying into what I do with my hair business, networking off of that, but then moving into Young Professionals YP, where Urban League, that definitely meshes together in the same wheelhouse, and then going into just trying to work with Power 94, that's definitely networking,
for
meeting a
sure.
lot of artists in the city and chat, and just trying to help them, and just also just seeing the talent out here, So it seems like everything that I do all kind of meshes in one, and I have to always remember that to keep a level of professionalism, but at the same time remember who I am, because I always try to stay true to myself. And I know that even though I am professional, I'm from College Park, Georgia, so I got a little country, a little, little bit of street, just a little bit. So I got that, but it's always just about learning the rooms that you're in, how to adjust, but still learning how to still be you authentically,
For sure.
So I always try to make sure that's in the forefront of my mind, is knowing like, hey man, I can do this. I can walk into the room and, talk business and professional, and then, go right back out there. And then we talking about music, or we talking about culture, and still feeling like I'm true to myself, So yeah, it's definitely something that I think when you're in this type of industry or do what I do, you have to think about that, because we're in this society where everyone's looking at you.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody's, got an opinion about you,
yeah.
So you just got to make sure you stay true to yourself. Yeah.
Good advice. Good advice. I hope y'all listening, especially creatives out there, because
yeah,
you can get lost in like that. You know what I mean? Trying to make yourself, prove yourself, or like hearing that and wanting to be like, okay, well, I can do this. I got to prove myself. Nah, stay true to what you're doing. Stay true to your path. You know what I mean? Because everybody has their own path to where they're supposed to be. As long as you are doing the right things, you will be aligned properly. So College Park. I was gonna ask where you from.
College Park.
So you ain't even far. You ain't even far. You ain't even far from. I'm from Chat. So.
Yeah, well, Chat. And the funny thing is, when I grew up, my family, we used to come to Chattanooga to the aquarium in the summers.
Yeah.
So before I even moved up here, I kind of knew a little bit about Chat.
Yeah.
My family used to come up here and we do some little family activities and stuff. But yeah, I moved up here for a job. But before that, I lived in Atlanta all my life, South Side Atlanta, College Park, Gobby Road. I'm talking about, yeah. Went to Tri-Cities High School.
Hell yeah.
So FAMU, went to college. I'm a rattler, die-hard rattler, okay. But yeah, then I moved up here to Chat. Once I started, I was a TV producer working for News Channel 9.
Okay.
And I got promoted, and they said, you're going to Chat to be a producer. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. What's up?
And Chattanooga has been very good to me, I would say.
How long you been here?
It's been about 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. Okay. Yeah. It's been really good to me.
You done good for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot to be involved with.
Definitely.
For sure. You know what I mean? For 7 years.
Yeah.
So FAMU, you went to FAMU from so you didn't choose a HBCU in Atlanta?
Okay, so
I hate to put you on the spot.
No, I love talking about HBCUs. It's one of my passions.
I wish I would have went. That's one of my
And I think everyone should experience it. Just maybe for a summer, or just go to an orientation or something. But I'm like my family. I have a few people in my family that graduated from FAMU.
Okay.
So it was already in my family. And then once I found out what I wanted to do, I got my major in broadcast journalism. That's what my degree's in. And FAMU has one of the top journalism schools in the nation, besides being an HBCU. So it kind of already like clicked, But if I didn't choose if it wasn't going to be FAMU, it was definitely going to either be Fort Valley.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be at HBCU either way, or NCAT. That was also my other acceptance into there. And I was like, yeah, okay. But once I got that FAMU, I was like, it's over. I don't even care what else I get into. I knew that's where I wanted to go.
And how you think going there shaped?
It helped me a lot because growing up in Atlanta, you do see people who never even make it out of 285, you know. But then I seen some who went to Spelman or Clark, got that college education, but still stayed in Atlanta. Then I seen few people like me who travel outside the city, outside the state to go to college. And I feel like that was a really good decision for me because it helped me grow outside of myself. In high school, I was tall. I'm 5'11", but I was 5'11" going into high school. So think about that, like this tall, lanky girl. And I'm like really introverted, real like just chilled. And I was just like, yeah, I need something to get me out my shell. My mom knew that too. So she was like, yeah, you need to go to FAM. Like, you need to go outside of your element. And I didn't know anybody at FAM when I first got there. So it pushed me to like make friends, get outside your comfort zone. And I needed that. I really did. And I seen now that I've, years later, I see how that helped me kind of broaden myself, how to grow myself. And just seeing how my friends, how they kind of they stayed in Atlanta, and just seeing the mindset of it, how I'm more open to just a lot of more things in my opinions. FAMU helped me travel. They exposed me to that traveling culture. So it was just one of those things like, dang, now I know how to, it's just certain etiquettes, it's certain way of lives. And that's what I love about family, because it's just, it taught me how to be me, how to love my Blackness, how to enhance it, how to try to just show people that, there is Black excellence around you, and I already knew that living in Atlanta. I seen Black excellence every day.
You feel it when you land there.
Right. You feel
it. I am not lying, dog. Every time I go, I feel it every time. I'm like, bro, I feel like it's almost home. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just feel like, it's a lot of weight off you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that, and that's why it's like I went to FAM, and it kind of like enhanced that. But I think HBCU, no matter if it's FAMU, whatever it is, I think every Black child should experience a HBCU, just so they can kind of get that understanding of like you feel a sense of home. You're not the minority, and that feels good. To see people like you're all striving for one thing, so it's dope. And the connections, like I got people from FAMU, we was in the trenches, broke as hell together, but I loved it. That was the best times of my life, and the people that probably gonna be in my life for the rest of my life.
I got two of my best friends with the Morehouse, so I got to go to a couple of homecomings.
Yeah, my dad went to Morehouse. He didn't graduate, but
because
he definitely partied. But he went to Morehouse.
Man, but I do agree as far as like getting out of your element and traveling, especially leaving your hometown, even if you come back. Because for me, I left. You know what I mean? I didn't have the same path. I joined the Air Force, and it took me overseas.
Yeah.
So coming back from overseas, man, it was like a total worldview, totally. Not only did I see Chattanooga differently, I saw United States differently.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You see our government differently.
Yeah, you see a lot of things differently when you live in another, you live in really another side of the world.
Yeah.
For 3.5 years. So yeah, me coming back was like a blessing. You know what I mean? Because even now that I'm home, I am totally more open. I've grown. Even just throughout being home with that now attached to me.
Yeah.
Has helped me grow. So yeah, I definitely encourage like leaving hometown, even for it's like for a year, or 2 years. Like,
have you ever thought about getting like a dual citizenship? I've been thinking about that really hard lately.
I did have that opportunity, but I divorced that opportunity, so that's no longer an opportunity.
I understand.
Actually, officially, a month ago, we became divorced in Germany. We've been divorced in the United States for a 1.5 years, but in Germany, it was official last month.
You had to do it in 2 countries, huh?
Yeah,
And it's not.
My
It's
son has
already
it.
hard in one
Yeah,
country,
yeah,
but you got to
yeah.
do it in two.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was but my son has it
Yeah.
so yeah, we'll see. And now she's able to Germany's lifted to where she's able to become a citizen now and not lose her German citizenship. Before, if she became a United States citizen, she would have to renounce her German citizenship, but now she doesn't have to. So,
Oh wow, that's pretty dope.
so that's gonna be good for her. But yeah. So me on the other hand, I would have to get a visa and work there and all that good stuff. But I do wanna live in Europe. My big goal is to live in Amsterdam. That's like my
I think that's still on my list to travel there and visit.
yeah. Any
Yeah.
other place you got on your list?
Me and my mom we're headed to Barcelona in March in a few weeks actually.
Oh shit.
So we
Man,
yeah.
please tell me how that is, because that's the one place I didn't try was Spain. My homie went to Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
He said the food is the best at
Yes, I've
all that.
heard everybody keeps telling me that the tapas, because you know
Yeah.
that's their thing, the
Yeah.
tapas are really good. So,
Yeah,
and I'm a
yeah.
foodie, so that's what I'm most excited about is, and then the architecture over there, the historical architecture they have in the museum. So, I love that type of stuff. So I'm excited. Me and my mom, we take a trip every year. So
That's what's up.
yeah.
Y'all do like a big trip like that every year?
Yeah, we try to do out the country.
Yeah.
I'm a big out the country person. I travel solo. I go in groups with some of my girlfriends,
Yeah.
family. We try to travel, but it's one of those things like it's if I don't travel within like 3 months, like every 3 months, I'm gonna go crazy.
Y'all see that?
I need it. I'm gonna go crazy. So, and even if it's just like a weekend getaway, it don't have to be out the country all the time, but just a weekend getaway. That's it's kind of like part of me trying to make sure I can stay sane. And one of those things are traveling, so I love to travel. I try to get away, get away from the everyday, and reset myself at least every 3 months. Yeah.
Top 5 cities
Mm.
you've been to. And then I'm going to give you a Keith Lee top 5 food cities, because you said you're a foodie.
Ooh, okay. My top 5 cities, I'll start, and I'm just going like from everywhere I've been.
Melting pot, throw it all in.
My favorite would be San Diego. It's number 5.
Okay.
I love San Diego.
Okay.
That So we're gonna do that one first, and then go to the food. Okay. So San Diego. Number 4 would probably be New Jersey. I have family in New Jersey.
Okay.
Love New Jersey.
All right, shout out New Jersey.
Brick City. Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. That was amazing. I think that if I had to get a dual citizenship, it would probably be in Costa Rica. Let's see. Number 2 would probably be, I love Jamaica. Jamaica is amazing.
Okay.
Just went to Jamaica for my birthday, my 30th birthday last year, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
So, and then my number 1 would be Johannesburg, South Africa. When I went to South Africa,
I've been wanting to go to South Africa.
It was great. It was wonderful. That was the best trip I've ever taken. That was dope. But as far as food, Denver has some really good food.
Yeah.
People like really be sleep on West Coast, but like Denver, good food.
Okay. I'll have to make it. I'll be making a list.
Really good. San Diego is also really good food. The Latino culture out there is amazing, of course, because it's right there by the border. But the food,
I can imagine.
I mean, so good.
I can imagine.
And the Vietnamese culture there too. People kind of sleep on that. Their food out there is good. The pho. Yeah, it's busting. And I think that's why I don't want to really eat pho out here, because it's just it don't hit on it. It don't hit the same. So it's kind of hard, because I'm like, this ain't it. So I try to just, when I'm out on the West Coast though, that's what I'm eating. Let's see. As far as food, Atlanta, I gotta say Atlanta, because one thing about Atlanta, like I love I'm a wing. I'm from Atlanta. Of course, I love wings, fried hard, mild with lemon pepper sprinkle.
Damn. Ain't that like this? That's like everybody gotta have that.
Yeah, that's it right
That's the
there.
one.
That's the order, with my fries.
Okay.
Or it's fried rice sometimes.
Okay.
But Atlanta always has great food, even if it's just from the wings to just having different variety of, cultures there. The Ethiopian culture is very
Yeah, I do know
heavy in
that in
Atlanta,
Atlanta. I do know that.
and it's good,
It
really
is
good.
good. Yeah.
If you like spices, Ethiopian food is it. And then let's see, what I'm on.
I think
Denver,
that's Denver.
3.
Yeah, that was 30. Oh, that was
3.
3.
Number 4 would be I guess my number 2 would really be Costa Rica. I would say Costa Rica.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because the food there was so natural.
You taste
You
it,
can
man.
you can taste it
It's
in the
crazy.
food that
I've
it
been to
was.
Costa Rica too.
Yeah, it was so natural, and it was I loved it over there. And then number 1, I would think I really don't know because I have family like up north. My godmom she lives in Manhattan. So I used to go up there a lot to see my dad's side of family in Newark, and then my godmom in New York. So I used to always go up there and get the street food. Like if I'm in New York or if, I'm in Jersey, it's the street food for me. You got to get some street food. I
Okay.
love it up there, and that's really why I go to New York only because it's like my mom said she's going to see my godmom. I'm like, oh, okay, that's dope. I'm like, she's like, you want to go? I said, if I want to be like just pig out for a weekend,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, let me
Slide.
go, let me slide real quick. But that's the only reason why I'm going up there. Not the people, not the scenery.
Nothing.
It's the food.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm a Southern gal, and them folks up there is just nah. So I go for the food. It's the food for me.
Oh man, I've never been to New York. That's one place I haven't been yet. But I'm the same. I'm the Southern. Like it's something about being in the South. We just don't really fuck with New
Yeah.
York. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to Jay-Z, we don't really fuck with him.
I mean, he's straight.
You know what I'm saying? Like he cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Food. I've heard great things about the food.
Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, the culture. We just
A
kind of
chopped
like,
cheese is
eh.
busting. You gotta have a chopped cheese. A chopped cheese do be busting though.
Yeah. I need to get up there. I want to get up there. I've been told to get up there to get the food.
Yeah.
I've seen Action Bronson talk about the food enough on New York, and fuck, that's delicious. So
Yeah.
it has encouraged me to go.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I want to go. Man, thank you for that ranking.
Yeah. I
That's
look.
a well versed ranking there.
I'm a TikToker, and I look. You said Keith Lee, so I had to get into my okay. Let me tell you. Let me tell you
Hey,
my
yeah.
top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if people be getting so mad, they still mad at him. He went to the All-Star game this weekend.
Man, yeah,
If
yeah.
he was mad at him, I'm like, dog, y'all need to chill,
Okay,
dog.
get off my boy. That's a
He's a
wholesome
foodie.
man, okay?
Yes.
A
He ain't
wholesome
cuss y'all out.
godly
Yeah,
man.
listen, I told y'all already a couple episodes ago, if it was me, I would cuss y'all out if y'all was
I'm
trash.
telling y'all, like he really be coming on there
Very nice.
so sweet. Cause if it was me, I'd be like, boop, boop. Like
Elegant.
it would be horrible. Like, nah, I
I'll
don't.
cuss you out.
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
like I said, if you mess with my moms or my family,
Baby,
yeah,
that
no,
college pride gonna come out real quick.
yeah. Man,
Nah.
that's what's up. I'm glad to hear that. I guess I mean, I didn't really know, but how well traveled you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
I think that is that shapes a person very well.
It
You know
really
what I mean?
does.
And you bringing that back here to Chattanooga and the community is big.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one thing I've always tried to do. It's something that is important to me, which is really Sankofa, which I tell people is this is Sankofa, one of the Sankofa symbols. But it means return and get it. So it's just learning from your past, learning, just what we went through as a people, or just taking your experiences and then bringing it back to where you are now in the present. And how can you form that to, help people in your life, help yourself, But to me, I take it as to help my people, So it's always what I learned, what I experienced. I always try to make sure I pour that into other people.
Yeah, for sure. How do you stay motivated to pour into people and do stuff for our people? I ain't gonna lie. There was a time where I was like, I could have been Nelson Mandela. I could have been all of them. And then I just kind of lost. I just kind of lost that.
I be
So
losing hope in us. I be like, but like when I tell you, it used to be a lot of times where I just be looking at stuff and I be like, what is wrong with us? Like, why? But if we don't do it, who's gonna do it?
that's true.
If we don't push ourselves and push our own people, if we don't hold ourselves accountable and hold ourselves to a high esteem, who else gonna do it? Because the mother folks ain't, they don't care, you know.
They do not care.
So it's one of those things where I do be getting mad at us sometimes, and I just look at it and I'm like, what are we doing? But then you have some people where you just like, we need those type of people that's gonna straighten us out. Like, you know, back in the day, our grandparents and they had the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, you know. But who do we have in this generation that can kind of like, all right, y'all, we gotta snap into it. Like, we gotta unite. We gotta bring it together. And it shouldn't be always to where it ends into a fight. You know, like the Alabama boat thing. Like, that was some unified stuff. You feel me? But at the end of the day, it's like, come on,
Very
y'all.
unified.
Come on, y'all. We had to fight to get unified. Like, we had to throw some bowls to actually come together. You know, it was
That's usually
funny.
how
Don't
it
get me
goes.
wrong. Like, I was tickled. I got some folding chair earrings from it. Like, it's I'm for the culture, but sometimes we just gotta sit down and get it together. Like, let's get it together, y'all. Yeah, like I'll feed into it sometimes, but a lot of times, you know, it's just certain things where it's just like, y'all, we really got to get it together. And if it's not for us, who is gonna be for? You know, so that's a lot of times. Like I pour my money back. I try to make sure my money stays in the Black community, but at the same time, I'm not gonna give my money to you just because you Black. Like I hold you to a certain account. Like I want to make sure, like, if I'm this customer service, your customer service got to be on point, not just because you my homeboy or because you Black. You know, I want to feel like I'm the customer. I want to have a great experience, you know? So I think a lot of times we kind of like say, oh, we need to support each other, but then also we have to keep each other accountable and be like, hey, you need to do better in your business. You need to do better in whatever you're putting out here to us for us to consume. Make sure that's your product. You putting your name on something, make sure that's perfect. You know, make sure it's something that, you know, you can value one day. You know, so I just think sometimes we kind of rush into stuff, or we just sometimes we just act real ninjurious, and I'm trying to be nice. I'm saying ninja, you know, but y'all know what I mean. We act like real ninjas sometimes, and it's just like, come on, y'all. We can do better than this, you know. But it goes back to what I said. It's about balance, baby. It's about balance, you know. So sometimes I just feel like we kind of lean too much towards the ninja side. When we, you know, let's just have that balance sometimes and come together when we really need to. Like, you know, when certain things in our community happen. You know, in Chattanooga is one of those, like, Chattanooga has a lot of bad violence here. The violence here is crazy. But when it comes to, like, you know, that gang violence and, oh, somebody shot somebody, but then everybody get riled up about that, you know. But then when it comes to other stuff in the city that be happening to our community, it's just like, oh, I don't care. You know, it's like, nah, y'all should be mad too, hyped too. The way y'all was hyped in the streets about Pookie shooting, you know, that have that same energy, because it's so much. Me working at the city, I see so much going on about how they take, and I'm not saying anyone in particular, but just how we have to be more like pushing the city more to acknowledge our Black businesses, you know, and give our Black businesses a chance to be out there for people to, you know, to patronize. But a lot of times, you know, there's opportunities where you have money out here for minority businesses people don't know about, you know. So that's why I tell people, like, tap into that type of resource. You know, it's not always about, you know, well, my homeboy said he gonna mess with me, I'm gonna get my support from him and my friends. But no, if you just extend yourself out a little bit more, and open yourself up to a broader audience, you'll see more support start to come in, more resources for yourself to come in. You know, so I know we love each other, we love the Black community, we love our friends, but sometimes you have to extend yourself so you can grow your business. You know, ain't nothing wrong with getting that white money.
Hell yeah. Fully agree.
You know.
That's a good place to take a break. think we'll take a break. We'll come back and hop back in. I got some other questions to ask you.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back. He's on my podcast. So we just ended pretty strongly there.
We did.
Uh, and I kind of want to get into the city a little bit because you say you're pretty involved.
Yeah.
I haven't spoke about some of the city in the works in a while, so I'm glad you kind of touched on that a little bit.
Yeah.
What frustrates you the most, probably in working with the city? I know that's a heavy thing to ask.
You mean now? Okay, so let's specify. You mean like working at the city? You know, like Chattanooga, or you mean like the Black community?
Black community.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to focus on
Um.
that.
I'm trying to say this without people, jumping on me in chat because y'all strong.
No, that's all I want you to say. It.
Nah, chat.
We need to hear, it, especially from somebody
Hey,
that's not from here.
yeah,
And I think also you invest. It's not like you come in and you just kind of looking and you don't do anything.
right, yeah,
You invest in the community. So I
yeah,
think you have
definitely.
every right.
And I try to tell people like anytime I have this conversation with people about Chattanooga, it's like one of those things like I love Chat. Like I said, I've been here for 7 years. I've bought a house here. I've made it my home. And so and like you said, I'm involved in a lot of stuff. So I do feel like I have the right to talk on on some, things that go on here. And I see the street side and I see the city side as well. So it's one of those things where it's like both sides have issues. But as far as like being in the Black community, let me just say first, like I said, I'm from Atlanta. I grew up seeing, you know, people support each other, the people uplifting each other.
Thank you for saying that.
And that's natural to me. That's
Yes.
natural. So when I came here to Chattanooga, that's one of the first things that I saw that was lacking.
Strongly.
And I thought as a transplant, like, all right, I'm gonna come in and I want to help kind of bridge that gap, and show that Black people in Chattanooga can support each other. So that was one of the things that I always like wanted to make better in Chattanooga is like, oh, I see somebody out here doing their thing, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to their event, or I'm gonna buy a ticket to this. I may not go, but I bought a ticket. But to me, that's what I grew up on. I seen, my families build businesses and our friends build businesses, and it's like, okay, well, that's who we support. That's who we go to. But here in chat, it's like that crab in the barrel mentality is so strong, and it hurts me because it's like that's what hurts us a lot of times. So then you try to build platforms like the BEC Awards where we can acknowledge each other, and now acknowledge the work that we do in the Black community. But we need more of that though. Not just the BEC Awards, but helping other organizations out because other organizations in the city do it too. Rise Chattanooga, Urban League. There's a lot of other organizations in the city, right? MFA, Hip Hop Summit. It's a lot of organizations, cities that try to uplift, but people here are cliquish. Very much, and I mean, like, hey, we talking, so
be real. Thank
be
you.
real.
No,
It's very cliquish
It's
here.
called Loudmouth. Look,
Loudmouth.
For a reason.
And
I love it.
And to me, like that cliquish stuff not gonna get you anywhere just because I support this person. You mad because I supported this person? No, we should all be supporting this person.
We're in Chattanooga,
right?
Together,
right? And then when it's your time, we're gonna support you.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
To me, it's that I can't. That's one thing it's just a pet peeve of mine. Like, don't be mad at me because you see me hanging out with this person or supporting this person, and you have a personal beef with them. Like, nah, because at the end of the day, if I have something, I want both of y'all to come to it,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? So
yeah.
I never been a cliquish type of person. I've always been the one I'm in different type of groups. So it's one of those things like that's something I feel like chat has to kind of break apart, break that cliquish mentality out, you know, the crab in the barrel. Like I don't mess with this person because they from here. And the high school stuff, man, I ain't never seen a high school rivalry like I see in Chattanooga. And to me, it's like, dog, like I thought I'm a diehard Rattler. Like, that's college though, you know, but to the high school level,
it's for real.
like it's real here. But to me, that just shows like the loyalty to your school, you know. Let's have that same energy when it comes to supporting each other in our businesses.
Absolutely.
And on the flip side of that, having a business worth supporting.
Yes.
Getting your ducks in a row and
Yes.
getting your stuff in line to where if I'm coming to your business, it's not like, you know, I book an appointment somewhere and you got all these rules just to get my hair done. Then you come to the appointment 30 minutes late, and now I'm sitting here waiting in your chair. You messed up my whole day. Like just examples, you know, nothing real. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have a business and really be out here professional, have it right, put it together, you know, to where I come to you and I'm like, man, that was some good service. I don't want to feel like, okay, I'm giving you my money just because you're black. I'm gonna give you my money, but I want to feel like this is something that I would enjoy. You know, if I'm giving you my money, it's for something that I want to make sure it's some top tier quality, you know.
For sure.
So, excuse me, that's one of the things that I just kind of see in chat that kind of just like it it disappoints me sometimes.
I feel you.
But then how I combat that is by, you know, going out and supporting different groups of people. Like I said, I'm vice president of YP. So I know a lot of people who do like, you know, networking mixers. They have like organizations where they trying to get like their business up and running. I'll go to that. I know a lot of artists in the city, you know, a lot of rappers, a lot of singers in the city when they have stuff, you know, showcasing their music. I go to that. So it's just like, to me, I don't never box myself in with one group in Chattanooga. I always try to,
either.
yeah, because that's how can you,
it does you no benefit.
it does you nothing, you know, because if you broaden yourself out, like I said earlier, you get more people, you know, to you to just attract to you. So I always try to make sure, and you know, that I'm meeting new people in the city, shaking hands, putting myself in rooms that I know is going to help me push forward. You know, and that's why I love chat, because I did that for myself here. I moved up here not knowing no one, and I build on that, and I started meeting people and talking to them. I'm like, who your friends? Hanging out with them. And then from there, it just got me into rooms and different situations where it's like now it's like people calling me like, hey, I want you to be on this. I want you to be on this committee. I'm like, y'all, I ain't got no time. I have literally no time in my schedule to do anything else. So, but I set myself up to that because I did not limit myself to one group, you know? So, that's just one thing I really wish. Like, I love chat. Y'all really became my home, you know? I just want us to do better as a people, to support each other more, and to, you know, make sure we're holding ourselves accountable and our businesses accountable. You know?
Think accountability. I'm glad we kind of speaking on this in Black History Month, because
yes,
some would say I don't know. I don't think I'm hard on Black people, but I have like, you know, I have seen lack of accountability in our people, in our communities, and it is a deterrent.
yeah,
And until we are, and there's a lot of things that go into that. I'm not making excuses and that like that, but there's a lot of reasons why there's lack of accountability.
yeah,
But we are to a point now in time in history as a people, that we need to start having accountability on behavior, on our traumas,
yeah,
on the things that we enable, we promote, we discuss, you know, things like that. You know what I mean? Because until that happens, I don't think as a community generally we will heal. Now,
right,
definitely Chattanooga. I don't understand it in Chattanooga in general because I've never. We're a small city. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see the point of beefing with each other. You know, personal beef, okay. Like if y'all got some real personal beef, if you are serious about your brand and your business, you'll learn how to keep that out.
I'm telling you, everything ain't gotta go on social media. Everything ain't gotta pop off in public.
Yeah, I mean, for real. You know what I'm saying? You'll figure out how to like, all right, I'll stay out his way, you know what I mean? Or I'll stay out of her way, or, as best as I can. Say we're in the
Yeah,
same room. Okay, we sit on this side of the room, I sit on this side of the room, but it doesn't hurt you going up, getting your award, going up, performing.
yeah.
Where it's like, I just don't understand the small mind state. Even if like, you know, I had my brother, I had my brother and another artist, Zandretti, on, and my brother's there, and they're both artists. And we
Mm-hmm.
had this conversation about like business versus personal, and like
Yeah,
how do you do business when there's like some personal ties, or like you feel like there's personal issues there and stuff like that. And I just was like, I mean, you got to understand, whenever you're entering that space, it's business first.
right.
There's no really room for personal things. You know what I mean? It
Exactly.
doesn't do you any benefit to have
Mm-hmm.
that. You're not gonna grow. You're not. It's gonna inhibit you more than enable you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely.
So if you go in with that mind state in the beginning, then um, it won't hurt you in the long run.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think like I said, I think if we change that whole mind state as a people,
Mm-hmm.
and taking accountability, there's nothing wrong. It strengthens you to take accountability. It doesn't make you weak to say, hey, we fucked up, or hey, this is, maybe we should change this, or hey, like,
You
you know what I
honestly, you
mean?
get more respect. To me, in my eyes, I respect you more if you come out and tell me like, hey man, I messed up. Like,
Hmm.
hey, I was
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
me, owning up to that, that's a whole
It takes a lot.
that takes a lot as a person. So
Yeah.
I respect you more if you come out and be like, I messed up, I'm wrong.
Mm.
For you to just bite down, double down, no, you wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah.
to me, that's a real person. That's
Mm,
that shows equality in people.
mm,
So that's just one thing I think, and I think it's because the culture that we're in
mm,
now, where it's like we see this facade of I gotta look this way, I gotta, be this way, act like I don't care,
mm, mm,
that's what people want you to feel like,
mm.
but at the end of the day, I just feel like you're a real person. I want to have real people around me, who are true to morals.
Mhm.
I think morals is something a lot of people don't have. Common sense and morals is lacking these days. Okay,
Man, you
common
ain't
sense ain't
lying.
so common no
You
more.
are not lying about that.
So yeah, that's just something I'm just like, if you come out and you tell me the truth and you tell me what's real, even if you know like it ain't the best or it's not something I want to hear, if you
Yeah,
tell me, I respect you
yeah,
more.
for sure.
So but that's the type of person I am. A lot of
Hmm.
people not like that. A lot of people want you to lie to them. A lot of people like being delusional.
Yeah, delusional,
Delulu.
or they have a fear. They have a fear of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But yeah, I respect it too. And it takes a lot to admit you're wrong. It takes a lot to take accountability.
yeah,
But I think it'll take, like, that's the thing when you say you brought up MLK and Malcolm X, and some of the people of, like, the people of our leaders that we had in the past that we're lacking now.
yeah,
One, well, really, they killed them all. So we're
yeah,
just gonna be real about that. But number two, a lot of them weren't speaking about accountability in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
Malcolm X was, as well as MLK, as well as Huey Newton. All of these, even Farrakhan now. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, they all speak into accountability,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's why, I think until we get somebody that is willing to do that on a consistent basis, I
Right.
don't know if it'll change. I think in a city aspect, it's going to take just this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Us sitting down, continuously having those spaces, and people, and showing, like, I'm always happy to see, like, when Hip Hop Summit or when MFA, we have these events, even now with Shuey, he throws a party or something like
Yeah.
that, and nothing happens. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
everybody goes home at the end of the night, it's chill. And there's a lot more of that happening than not.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time for, like, some of these businesses and venues to see that.
Yeah.
But it's been happening a lot more than not. And I think that is capable of happening. We just got to keep pouring and having, like I said, keep having these
Having these
conversations with each other,
conversations. Yeah.
making sure, like, we are moving in different circles, and learning. Listen, whoever, whenever it's your time, you'll get the support. But if
Yeah.
we all do it, that's that's what will take it to the next level.
Right. I mean, you gotta think about other, groups of races like Asians.
Hmm.
Like when you think about them, when they somebody build a business, they support them.
Man,
They
listen.
they put on their people,
Yeah.
Hispanic, the Latinos, I
Hmm.
should say. We kind of laugh at them and like, oh, they all live together, but hey, they saving money.
Man.
You
Yeah,
feel
it's
me?
my ex, she's Italian, so like,
Yeah, they
and
believe
that's
in
what they on.
family first,
Yeah.
and I think as Black people, I don't think it's our fault that we think like this.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it
not.
was how
It's the
how
trauma. But
the
that's
trauma.
accountability comes. We gotta face the
Right. We
trauma
have
first.
to fix that trauma, but we have to address the trauma first and we
Hmm.
have to fix the trauma. But I think it's all about how we go about introducing it. Because we're not like the generation back in that days. We are
No, we're
different.
not. Yo, very
You
different.
can't come in our face and be like, you gotta change.
Yeah.
It takes, like you said, spaces like this, like
Mm-hmm.
podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
where it's more of a gentle let in,
Mm-hmm.
like when we kind of talk about it, bringing in a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I always kind of joke about this, but it's for real. Like millennials, we are real like protective of our mental health. And I love that about us
Yeah.
because a lot of like, I don't know, when you growing up with your parents, you come to your mom and be like, Mom, I'm depressed. Depress them dishes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They ain't having
Depress
that.
your room and clean
Yeah,
up
they
them
ain't having
rooms. You
that.
can't tell, you couldn't tell your parents you felt, like depressed
Yeah.
or just down because they like, what
Yeah.
you got you got food on the table, you got a roof on your head. Why you down for it? But it's
Yeah.
not like, I'm not thinking about it like that, Mom.
Yeah.
So growing up, I think as millennials, we take that so
Yeah,
seriously.
we do.
Like,
Yeah.
hey man, I need a mental health day.
Yeah.
You not in my peace right now. If you not in my peace, baby, you gotta
Yeah, we
go.
did come up on Ludacris.
Yeah.
Disturbing the peace. You feel me?
Disturbing the peace. I love me some Luda. Yes.
uh,
But yeah, that's for real. Like I think we just gotta we gotta find those avenues and those channels and platforms to bring
yeah.
it about,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I try to. That's kind of why I started Mental Health Mondays. With the having the a black man speak about mental health and
Yeah.
two black men was very like I wasn't seeing that, so I thought I would do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was something that I was actually doing. It wasn't something that I ever thought I would do because I didn't even understand myself well enough to get there
Yeah.
until I was ready. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but that is part of this generation. I will say that. I think the younger generation is like even more so. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The one after us, like, but we kind of like the middle of that. We're kind of like we
Yeah.
have a little bit of the old school, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? You not suck it up, but like, all right, there's certain things you have to do you may not like to do to
Right.
get to a certain point that you got to have the fortitude, the perseverance, and the mental strength to get through.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think sometimes, like, the younger generation may be like, I don't want to, it's too much of a challenge.
Right. And they just
And they just
flat
pass it
out.
off.
Yep.
So, like, I think that's probably like the biggest difference. But I
Yeah.
do think, like, our generation is very strong about mental health. And we
Yes.
should be. I think the only way you can, our people, our people, black people, PTSD is ingrained in our blood.
Whew. It's
You
like
know
you're
what I
born
mean?
with it or
We
something.
are. We literally we have blood pressure issues. We have diabetes. We have all the literally trauma is ingrained in us
Yep.
from slavery and how we were treated as we were.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just start at the physical attributes. Your cell level is that. So now it's
Right.
like there's a lot of mental things we have to like face
Yeah.
that we that has hurt our families over time,
Yep.
and we just gotta have a discussion about them. So
Yeah, definitely. And I always try to make sure that if I can be a vent or a space for a black man to talk, I've always made sure I try to be that
oh
type of
yeah, you're not
person.
buying into the you can't talk to black women.
Oh nah,
Didn't
see,
Shaq say that? Shaq.
nah, see, and that's something. It's like I can't. We're not gonna be against each other. That's what we're
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah,
You know, we already got everybody else against us. I'm not gonna be against my black man.
yeah, yeah,
You know, if anything, I'm a black woman. I'm supposed to empower you. I'm supposed to uplift you. You feel me? So if it's gonna come from anybody, it should be the black woman. So we should be the peace, the safe space for our men.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. You know, I know we have differences a lot. A lot of times, you know, black women have their own adversities that we go through, and so does black men. But we shouldn't pin that against each other. If anything, we should try to build that and overcome that together. So that's one thing that I'm really big on. Like, I'm not finna be going back and forth, you know,
Good. I'm
about
not about
with black men in public about you know, like some stuff they be saying, the relationships and the
That
submissiveness.
ain't none of the
And
podcasts you listen to?
man, when I tell you, it is ridiculous how, I don't know. Maybe I have a mix of old school tradition, but I also have a mix
for
of
sure.
like modern, you know. Just seeing how the old school tradition in certain ways weren't so beneficial, or how I see it is like, nah, we could have did better in this ways. And trying to perfect that for myself, you know, in my personal life. But one thing I'm not gonna do is sit here and be like bashing black men. You know, I'm gonna be a safe space for my man. I'm gonna be a peace for my man. I'm gonna try to be, because you know sometimes he might get on my nerve. You know, black men, y'all get on our nerves sometimes, but that don't mean we should go out in public and bash each other. You know what I'm saying? They, you know,
sure.
I don't like that. But yeah, that's that peace. We got to be each other's peace.
For sure. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right. So you said a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. One of them was lupus, right?
Yeah.
So when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed a year after college. It was like 2017. And but I had symptoms before I was diagnosed, like a year or two before I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
But
What made you go right?
I was just feeling like real sluggish and feeling like, where's my energy at? I'm like supposed to be, you know, getting up, going to class, and I just didn't want to do nothing. Then I started seeing like little lesions on my skin, from on my arms to my chest, on my face, and on my back, and I was like, what is this? You know? But I didn't really pay attention at first. I just thought maybe I've always had sensitive skin issues, so I was just like, maybe it's something like that. But as time went on and I started to see them grow, I was like, okay, something's going on. So with lupus, it's an autoimmune disease, and it affects everyone differently. But what I tell people is that lupus is really common in Black people, specifically Black women. And I try to tell people it's like up there with breast cancer. Like, we have to give it the same attention and the same just acknowledgement, because a lot of people go through it, but a lot of people don't talk about it.
For sure.
But I've always been one of the people that kind of just try to like tell people about it and make sure I'm spreading the word, because when I first found out about it, I was like, what is lupus? What is this? I've never heard of it before. So I started doing my research and I started looking around. I'm like, I don't see a lot of Black women talking about lupus. And then the ones that I did see, it was talking about like systematic lupus. So you have two types of lupus, SLE and DLE. It's systematic lupus, where it affects your inner organs, like kidney failure. You can have a lot of times where you see in lupus patients. You see a lot of issues with like lungs. You see a lot of issues with just it can affect different organs in your body. But usually most common lupus is when you have like you have low energy. You can't really stress. If you're stressed, that's when you get more sick. And then you have and that's common in all lupus, but the lupus that I have is called DLE, which is discoid lupus. And that's when you have more of it when it affects your skin. So a lot of times when I get stressed, or when my body is not reacting to something that I have taken, or that something is in my daily routine, my body is not reacting to it right, so it goes out on my skin. It fights my skin. Being out in the sun with the UV rays is also a danger. UV rays bring out more lesions in your skin. So people going outside every day and just walking around, like, to me, that like, I have to watch out for that. I have to wear sunglasses, sunscreen, apply sunscreen like twice a day on my skin, anything that's exposed to sun. Have dark tinted windows. So it's little things like that that I have to kind of watch out for. But I don't really try to make it, everything like consume me. But it does. I have to watch my stress levels, because if I stress, I will have a flare up, and a flare up is basically when you get sick. So on one, that's the main thing that I try to avoid is flare ups. But usually when I'm in a flare up, you kind of see it on my face. Like, all of the lesions on my face are from lupus. And it didn't start like that. It started with just like one little coin on my cheek, and I was just like, oh, okay. To now, what they call it, a butterfly rash, and because it kind of looks like a butterfly on your face, but it kind of covers all of my nose, my two cheeks, and my eyebrows. And then sometimes when I'm in a really bad flare up, I can lose my hair. And my alopecia would kind of onset alopecia. So that's why I'm so big on peace. I'm so big on, like, you're not
You
gonna
have to
stress
be.
me out. Like, I'm gonna laugh about something real quick. But one thing about lupus, I just try to tell people, because a lot of people look at me and be like, girl, who knocked you out? Like, who hit you in your face? And I try not to let it get to me. But I just try to educate people, like, no, this is something, autoimmune disease, But I try to tell people, like, don't with lupus, you don't know what to expect with lupus patients. It could be one day you feel good. The next day you wake up and you just feel like a truck hit you, and I don't want to do anything. Or some days when I just feel like I am just like, what my face looking like? I don't feel beautiful. I don't feel confident. But one thing I always tell people in lupus patients, you always have to just know who you are. You can't let lupus be your story. Let it be a part of your story, but it's not your entire story. But I had to grow into that. I had to learn how to love myself again, how to kind of be confident in myself. But at the end of the day, like, I always just try to educate people. That's the main thing about it. So I hopefully I'm trying to do something for May and Lupus Awareness Month. So I might have something, coming up. But that's in the works. But yeah, it's something I try to tell people, like, Black people really need to think about it. We just don't have breast cancer and strokes and heart disease.
We have a lot.
It's a lot of other things that, that are in our community.
Bad in
Yes, cancer.
We'll hop back into that in a minute.
Yeah.
I got some stuff to say about that. Yeah, I'll take another break here, but we'll hop back in. These are my podcast. Back again. Had to take a little break there, but we're back, and I wanted to just hop right back into Black health, especially Black men health.
Yeah.
I'm in the medical field too, and I get some disappointment in that. Like, a lot of us just don't go to the doctor, and that's some trauma too. I mean, we have reasons to not trust doctors here, but I think that's a detriment as well.
Right.
And you say, like, we only know we only know breast cancer. We only know, like, we don't really know skin cancer like that. Breast cancer and high blood pressure, diabetes. And that's about it. But, like, colon cancer is strong in our community. Oh yeah, sickle cell, but we don't even know sickle cell like we should.
Yeah, my nephew has sickle cell, so I have the trait. So Yeah, people don't know about that. Like,
Yeah.
finding out if you have the trait.
Yeah, I got a trait too.
Right.
And I think it comes from, I didn't know I ever had a trait, but I think it comes from like family that I didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's like even crazier for me.
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, it's real. Like that's one thing. Since I've been diagnosed, I've taken health so seriously because it's one of those things like I've seen it in my family, just from what I eat to what I drink.
Yeah, you gotta really pay attention.
Yeah, working out, I just think that's something, as black people, we love our salt, we love our seasonings. If it
Yeah.
ain't what we say, if we ain't sneezing, it ain't season. Nah, sis, put that back. Stop shaking that pepper so much. Okay. Leave that salt alone. So it's one of those things like we know we can eat to taste good, but we have to learn how to eat more healthy.
No, for sure.
Because that's something that I think that's definitely causing, ailments in our community is the way we eat. And so I think that's something that's so important for us to just try to take control of, even if it's just eating fruit, drinking water. People be acting like water is gonna kill you. No, water actually helps you
Actually, it
live
does
longer.
not kill you.
It does the total
It does.
opposite.
Yeah, thank you. It does the opposite.
So people like, I don't like the way water tastes. What? Like, oh, even if that's
It's not supposed to
like,
have a taste.
like
It's water. It's supposed to be for the enrichment of your body.
exactly.
That's what it is for.
It's just it tickles me sometimes though,
Man,
but
killing
it's just one of those things I've always been very adamant about is people who are in my life, like if you come to me and be like I don't feel good, I'm gonna tell you go to the doctor. If you did you try to go to the doctor? Did you call your physician? And I'm so big on it. And I know we have our, like you said, we have our issues with doctors. But I'm the type of person like my physician is black, my dentist is black, my rheumatologist is black, my dermatologist is black. So I have that phobia too, but I made sure I did something about it and just not going to the doctor, at all. Period. That's not the answer. It's finding people who you can be comfortable with, even if it's calling and asking the doctor's office, or looking up, going online, because they'll show you who the doctors are in the office.
Yeah.
And you know what I do? I look for a black doctor.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say, I'm looking to see, do you have a black doctor on your staff?
Yeah.
That's what makes me comfortable.
Yeah.
So,
Shoot.
and I had an issue with that before. I had a white OBGYN.
Yeah.
I had came in for an issue and she was like, I told her I was having some pain. She was just like, oh, that might be something. Don't worry about it. If it happens again, let me know. Something in my gut told me to go and just get a second opinion. And I went to a black woman for the second time. She said, okay, well, we're going to run some scans. Come to find out I had fibroids. I was like, if I didn't go and get a second opinion just from just a black woman, even if, I was just like, she kind of just like, oh, she was just like, all right, well, it might hurt now, but if it started to hurt more, let me know. But what if I would have waited,
For sure.
That's the type of things that's just like, nah, after that, I was just like, everybody black. Every doctor I have got to be black. And then just not on top of that, it's just doing my research on those doctors too.
Sure.
My dermatologist, she in her medical study, she studied discoid lupus. So I wanted to make sure I had a doctor who understood what I have, my discoid lupus. How do she know about the latest research and how to cure it or to help sustain it? So that's something that I did. I went the extra mile to find those doctors so I can feel comfortable going into my doctor visits and saying, hey, this is how I feel. This is what's going on in my life, and them understanding, and having a relation to that. So that's so important to me. I took that is just taking that extra step to say like, okay, if I'm gonna feel comfortable with a black doctor or a black therapist, finding someone who, all therapists aren't the same.
No, they're not.
So finding you a therapist that you're comfortable with. If someone who's not religious, someone who might, just make you feel like they're your homie. You have different therapists out there and counselors who you can feel comfortable with, who will come to your level to help understand you and open up. So I just think we just have to do that research. We do research for everything else.
Yeah, we do.
How to get those Amiri outfits and, get those designer clothes.
Yeah.
So why we can't take that same energy and put it
To
into our mental,
ourselves.
into our health.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, education for one. I think people wouldn't even know like rheumatology is based in immune. So like learning these things and then learning what they could do to us and that's part of it too. But there's some accountability in that. You know what I mean? We are in a
definitely.
time where you can look up shit. So you should be able to look up things for your health.
Y'all can look up that Drake, that Drake video.
Hell yeah, you sure
Y'all can look up and find a doctor, okay?
Yeah, you can. You right. Man, so I want to talk about the radio. Power 94,
Power 94.
Quiet Storm. So how'd you land that? Because Quiet Storm is a very staple thing here.
And it's crazy. I didn't realize that until I actually
so you got it?
on the show.
Yeah, I know you did. That's why I'm asking.
And so it was a few years ago. I've been working Power 94. I think this is going on my 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Donna L. Shout out to Donna L.
Mm-hmm.
She's been on the radio since she was 13. She's been at Power 94
for sure.
forever.
Yeah, she's a mother.
Yeah. So I was kind of starting off at the station. I was kind of starting off like trying to get out and get more into like the urban community in Chattanooga.
Yeah, for sure.
And I knew, just being around Donna, she has her hand in a lot. So I kind of clung to her, and she helped me navigate Chattanooga and helped me understand it a lot. So at that time, I was with her at an event, and I was just going to kind of just shadow her, be around her, just to network around her. And Power 94 was out there, Keith, Magic, Chi Chi, all of them, and they were she introduced me, and Keith was like, "You have a nice voice." I said, "Thank you." And he was like, "Have you ever thought about being on radio?" I said, "No." Because my degree is in broadcast journalism.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I was a TV producer. So I've always been behind the scenes. And I've been told, I wanted to be a reporter at first, but I was told that my looks are distracting. I'm very tall. I got a little curve, the locks. And they wanted to kind of control my look. And I said, right. So I said,
why would you not put that on it? Okay, first of all, I want you to continue the story. But I'm gonna step in real quick. Why would you not put that on TV? You want viewers, right?
Right. Did they said it's distracting?
I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense. Do you want viewers or not?
Man, when I tell you, it's like TV world is so different. People don't see a lot of what goes on behind the scenes, but they want you to have this neutral look. Short, like hair can't be past the shoulders, can't have curly hair. Yeah, so it's one of those things. And so I got deterred from being a reporter very early in my career. And I just was like, I'm gonna be a producer. And I've always been behind the scenes. And then now Keith is like, well, yeah, let's see how you work in radio. And I was like, I don't that wasn't the idea. That wasn't the goal. I did not expect for me to get an offer to work on radio. So that wasn't even in the plan at first. But then I started talking to Keith, and then I saw how Power 94 is just legendary in chat with putting on so many people. And I was just like, oh, this will be a dope avenue to just help elevate myself in chat. So I started hanging around the crew, Magic, started hanging around Mika, Miggy, all of them, CBZ, and we grew like a family. And I was like, okay, this is pretty dope. So Keith taught me like how to do my voice, how to, get the cadence right.
Hey, that's what's up. You gotta, that's a legend teaching you that.
Yeah. I was nervous.
Yeah, I would have been nervous too. I ain't gonna lie.
I was like, what am I coming into? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Keith just told me I got a nice voice, so I'm gonna just try
that alone was like, that would have been, if he told me that, I'd have been like, wait a minute. I got a what?
Right. Like, I just came over there to get introduced, and then Keith was like, "You want a job?" I was like, "You know what?
Hey
I might
man,
want to get into this."
sometimes blessings fall like
Hey,
that.
fall right in front of you, you know. And that it was a blessing though, to just to be in that atmosphere and to be around them, like E and Magic. I love Magic. That's like my mama right there. But they took me under their wing and kind of, because I told them I don't know nothing about radio. I just listen to the radio for the most part, you know, and they were just like, okay, this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna say, this is how you can connect to audience. And I just kind of grew from there. You know, I know the Quiet Storm comes on at night. But one thing about the Quiet Storm is just trying to make that, you know, that setting the mood, setting the tone, you know, at night. So it was hard trying to find that pace at first. But I was like, okay, I'm getting the hang of it. Yeah. And then I think I knew like I was like the Nubian Goddess. First of all, it was a fight between my name because Keith wanted me to be the Nubian Queen. And I'm like, I don't care what it is. Like, just put me on the air at this point.
Wait, that was fighting over Queen and Goddess?
Right, the queen or the goddess. And I'm just like, y'all, I don't know what it sound. Both sound good to me. Do a coin cost, whatever it is. Like, just do it, you know. But he was
Goddess
like,
has more of a spiritual tie.
right, yeah, and that's what Keith was like. You have more of a spiritual type of aura. So he was like, he like goddess, and I was like, cool, you know, bet. But I knew people were actually like clinging on to it because I was at Chick-fil-A. And you know my name, Napierra, that's very unique. I ain't never met a Napierra in my life yet, you know.
You're the first.
Right. So I pulled up and they're just like, they saw my name on the order and she was like, "Are you the Nubian Goddess?" I said, "Oh, so I'm out here. I'm out here."
I know, I feel you on that.
Yeah, so that was kind of the thing, and it was just like, oh, okay, so people do listen, you know, even though radio, you know, to let's just be real, it's in this day and age, it's fading, but it still has its, you know, its strengths in
but
some
Quiet
way.
Storm is like, I don't think. I mean, radio's fading, but Quiet Storm element, I don't think will ever fade. I guess
Right, like,
because
yeah,
it's always at night.
yeah,
That market has been exclusive. Like you know,
oh yeah,
ain't kids listen, ain't teenagers really listen. Like that specific Quiet Storm is for like people that's coming home from work or
right,
like
trying to relax.
trying to relax at late at night, whatever.
Yep.
So like so I don't think it'll ever like that's still a placement for you that allows you to have a brand, you know
right,
what I mean?
and kind of have that little platform to kind of build myself and be a little creative, you know. And I do appreciate Power 94 because they gave me the freedom to kind of mold the Quiet Storm to like, you know, create my voice, how to talk, you know, think about what you want to talk about and kind of lead myself in that direction. And it kind of formed like this brand for me of like, oh, Nubian Goddess, sensual, like, you know, that type of ease. And I like that, you know, because that's really kind of plays on who I am. Very laid back, chill person, you know. But I think, and I listen to most R&B, so I was just like, okay, this is dope, you know. And seeing people kind of take to it was like, that's cool. So people started acknowledge it in the city, and I'm just like, that's dope. You know, I always would love Power 94 for giving me that platform, and being on the radio, and it's just helped me build myself, knowing a lot of artists here in chat. You know, people coming on me, hey, you know, I know you work on Power 94. Can you help me try to figure out how to put my music in? Yeah, you know, I can tell you who to connect to, you know, and stuff like that. And it's also led me to the Hip Hop Summit, being on the committee for that. So it's dope to just have those connections and be invited to certain things in the city off the strength of Power 94. But one thing I will say is I really wish artists would lean on Power 94 a little bit more.
Yeah.
I know we are in the world of like, you know, internet and you putting your posting your stuff on there, but at the same time, Power 94 can help you.
There's still people listening to the radio. Like, you know, if you have a certain song, that's okay.
Yeah, like they're big on supporting street flavor and local artists, y'all just can't be having those,
Crazy songs.
crazy
Yeah,
type of
people. Yeah,
songs,
yeah.
So, but if you really push yourself and be creative, and you have something, they'll support. They'll go behind you and support you. So I just would like to see a lot of more artists kind of lean on Power 94, and even like come to us and be like, hey, what would you want us to see more out of us?
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we talk about a lot of times too. How can we get more involved in the artist community here in Chattanooga? Because of course there's a big music industry here in Chat.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're in it, but how can we lean more into it in Chattanooga? So I've always tried to ask people and artists, like, what would you like to see in the city other than the hip hop summit, but other ways that the radio station can do
I
that.
think radio. You maybe could probably speak more to this because you're from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I can see from Chattanooga, that it loves hip hop, knows the culture of Atlanta pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Radio is pretty consistent with doing things for artists.
Right.
And I think I would like to see Power 94, me, because I did, I do music too, but just being in the scene, I would like to see Power 94 be more consistent in that, as far as like, I don't know, maybe like not an artist showcase, but something like more consistently where it's like there's like a bash or like something like that where it's bringing artists in to where there's, because I think a lot of that happens by like MFA or like Hip Hop Summit. Those are events that are, we raise money or people invest in or whatever, get sponsorships.
Yeah.
But like I would like to see Power 94 as a media company be kind of do a more consistent as a face, because you see like radios stations, they'll do stuff in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And it'll be an event that brings an artist home. Maybe it'll be even like I don't know, simple like a cookout or something like that.
Right.
And they still have an artist come perform. And that could be somebody that's local. You know what I mean?
Right. So. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I feel like we're trying to put together to stay relevant in Chattanooga. Because like I said, Power 94 has been in Chattanooga and just in the streets of Chat for a very long time.
Yeah, it's a staple. I mean, I
so
can speak to that.
It's dope to be a part of it, but also trying to find ways to continue it and grow from it. But I love Power 94. I love the family we got there, and shout out to Mika. She just won best radio personality in BC.
Okay. All right.
So shout out to her.
I was just looking at some of the award winners last night.
Yeah.
I actually forgot it was last night. I ain't gonna lie, I've been so busy, dog.
It looked like it was a good time. Like it was good to see, it definitely looked like it was a good time. And I think every year it's gotten better.
Yeah.
So I think what they're doing is definitely good platform for Chattanooga and Black businesses here, and just shining a light on a lot of people who do a lot of great things in our community. So that's dope. To have that. So, and we have a lot of other different organizations that do stuff like that. So, I think we should support all of them in doing
Do you
that.
think, let me ask you this, it's going to take a less of a positive spin, but do you think like, and I've heard this in the community, so that's what I'm asking you. Do you think like the competition aspect of the BEC Awards is more detrimental in that? Because there's, I agree, it highlights, but there's also like, there's also the crabs in the barrel here too as well, and then there's also like other things. So, do you think like that?
I think I don't know why people. Okay, so at first I was kind of wondering why people clung to the BC Award so much.
Yeah, like what's the
like what's the big about BC? Because there are different other awards ceremonies here that you can go to be a part of and to get recognized for it. And that's honestly that sits on a higher esteem than BC. Nothing against BC. But to have a better, a higher esteem. And we don't support them, or we don't look at it as importance. But to me, I feel like I really feel like it's because BEC caters to a more broader audience to Chattanooga. They touch on a lot of small businesses that a lot of organizations don't touch on. A lot of categories, because baby, it's a lot of categories.
It is.
A lot of categories to touch on that a lot of other organizations don't touch on. So yeah, so people do cling to it in that way. My thing is, and it goes back to broadening your audience. To me, it comes to knowing who to be around, the groups to be around. So certain organizations like Urban League have award ceremonies for a lot of entrepreneurs and startup businesses. They give away a lot of grants. That's money you ain't got to pay back. So a lot of people don't know about that, but when people also think about Urban League, some people either don't know what Urban League is, or some people, because of things that happened in the past, may have a negative, connotation to it. But to me, it's all about who you expose yourself to. I got out and I looked at all the organizations, and I've seen all of what they do and who they recognize. So I just think that we have to kind of it's narrow minded, and I think where BEC gets it right is because they, like I said, they touch on different communities, different levels of businesses, different groups of people in the city. So I think that's why they have such a good response to it. But I also think that a lot of people should look into other organizations that's in our community that highlight, that as well. But BEC they do a great job of promotion. I think sometimes it can get a little messy, but that's because, people like to go on social media and talk and
that's gonna happen. That's what I mean. I think which will come. That happens in a professional, well above level. We just seen it with the Grammys. Killer Mike got arrested, and like people saying he shouldn't have won the award. You know what I mean? Like that happens. That happens.
Right.
But I think, I think one, I agree. You need there are different presentations. There are different awards that carry just as much or even more validation.
Yeah.
Than the BEC Awards. I also think, and this is where I've been nominated a couple of times, but I always went into with this mindset because I never really started doing this for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's not why I started doing it. And I always went into it like that's not what I'm going to value what I'm doing based off of. You know what I mean? I get gratitude in different ways. That's a great gratitude to have. Don't get me wrong. And everybody that's winning and everybody that participated is all love. You know what I mean? But there's gratitude in other things. There's gratitude in you coming on the podcast and saying you've been listening for. I take that as a you know
same.
what I mean. That's how I move. Like so. Cause I would have never expected you to be listening that long. So for me, it's like, yeah, that's what's up. Like, I take that and I use that as an award. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think as you're growing, and I'll say that to all, because most of them are small businesses, like you say, or people that's entrepreneurs or musicians that kind of have to do it off script, or you know what I mean, invest in themselves. I say that to say to y'all, like, if you didn't win or if you didn't get nominated or if you feel like whatever, like don't put your validation in that. Yes, it's great to have an award. I mean, cool. And flex. If you did win, flex. I ain't even mad. Go ahead and flex. You know what I'm saying? I would. But
as you should.
As you should. But don't put your validation in that. You know what I mean? And if you want, keep working. You know what I'm saying?
And if you didn't win, that should give you even more motivation to push harder for next year.
To come back and make it. Don't even have a discussion next year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but I think people do get caught up in the whole getting an award and feeling that comes with it so hard. But I try to tell people, like, you should find reward in the little things, not just a award. There's nothing wrong with getting an award, but the little things, like people come to me saying, "Hey, I listened to your show last night. That was dope." That's a reward for me.
Absolutely.
People, like, I do my hair business and getting a lot of women to go natural and have locks. Them telling me like this was the best decision I've ever made. I fell in love with my hair again. That's my award. That's my award to me because that makes me want to keep going. That's my validation.
For sure.
So a lot of times and sometimes to me when you get an award it comes with politics. You know.
Well, I didn't want to go there.
It gets into a lot of politics, you know.
That is a part
Watch
of it
who
too.
you accept awards from or just, anything because sometimes it doesn't come with positive, intentions. So that's a lot of, who you connect yourself to. And I always say this, and I've learned this being here in chat, you don't be so accessible,
Thank you for
don't
saying
be
that.
so accessible to people,
Thank you for saying that,
and I think that's why a lot of people try to want to be out here, want to be seen on every different podcast channel. But it's like, nah, like think about Beyonce. Have that Beyonce mindset. You're not saying that it has to be in everything, but it's just like you don't have to be everywhere every day all the time.
Make people miss you. I've done that.
And when people miss you, you get more of that, that feeling of, I just feel like, saying yes to everything is that's not.
It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. Sometimes it's good to just say no, and be okay with just saying no. I can't do that. This not something I'm comfortable with doing. That's okay. My mom, that's one thing my mom always taught me. Be okay with someone telling you no. And if they tell you no, either find a plan B, figure out another way to go about it. But don't be upset from someone telling you no. That's a part of life.
Absolutely.
That should make you want to go harder. It made me want to go harder.
Hell yeah, it made me want to go harder too. I definitely get fired up by no's. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, underestimate me. I love that. I love that. That too. Underestimate me.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna show you something.
Well, yeah, we'll end it here. I always like to end it with everybody promoting themselves.
I don't even know what to promote. You guys,
where can we see you next? You said in May.
In May, I do a lot of work with Urban League YP young professionals in the city. If you're between the ages of 21 and 40, and you just want to come out, enjoy yourself, learn to network, how to build yourself as a professional, socialize, we do all of it. Empowerment, community service. Come out and join us. At Power 94, I'm the Nubian Goddess. Quiet Storm comes on Sunday through Thursdays, 10 p.m. to midnight. If you want to start your lock journey, I'm Noir Locks of Beauty. I do sister locks and micro locks. I meant to
meet you, the guy. We'll come back part 2.
Look, I really don't need no more customers, but I'm just we'll do part 2. I'll help you, but I'll lead you in the right direction. But that and if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Goldilocks GOLDEE_LOCZ. And that's my little public page, keep it PG-18.
There's a private page?
Yeah, Facebook. Okay. That's for friends and family.
Okay.
But for the public, IG. Okay. But yeah, I appreciate you bringing me on the show. I truly enjoy it.
Thank you for coming on, man.
I love to listen to your show. You bring some dope people out in chat, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming. Hey, before we close out, Mental Health Mondays are coming back every Monday. I want that announced here. And y'all be on the lookout. I'm doing stuff with Chattanooga, so I'm gonna be way more active in the podcast community these next couple months. All right, man. Peace. Love y'all. Peace. Thank you. Subscribe, like, share. Iggy's Loudmouth Podcast.